This is Dave from Amplify, and I am talking to Andrew from the Fauves. Yeah, how do you say
Oh,
it?
Fauves.
The Fauves, the
Yeah.
Fauves, who have just released a brand new album today. I think they're 13th. Yeah,
13, yep, it is, yeah.
lucky 13. So that's today. So we'll get onto that in a little bit. To start with, Andrew, if you can remember, because you're an old man, if you can remember, how did the band come together back in '88? For some people, for the youngsters here, that's just after the Second World War.
Yeah, well, in terms, I mean, if you go, yeah, God, what is it, 36 years ago, 36 years, take
It's
that back from 1988, you're not far from the Second World
not
War, which is,
not far, not far.
yeah, kind of confronting. No, we all went to the same high school and played footy and cricket together. So, um, yeah, it seemed like next, and for four guys who were into music, seemed like the next logical step was form a band.
So what age were you? What age were you at school? You know, like all
Uh,
the way through
but
school, or you sort of met? Uh,
yeah, well, we'd been through school. We'd met at school, but we were 88. Well, so I was 21 when we got the band together. So
okay, so you're playing footy and all that sort of stuff, and you all sort of know that you play music, but you just made a decision to say, oh, why don't we, blah blah blah, or
yeah, I mean, we sort of it was just. I mean, I don't think we even thought it was. I mean, we talked to, it'd be great to be in a band, but I mean, none of us, we hadn't played in bands. We didn't know how to play in bands. We'd sort of had these rudimentary, we'd learned, taught ourselves guitar. And so it was just one of those things that young, dumb guys do, and without any real expectations or, um, yeah, like, and just massively overrating our ability at the time.
as you
Which is,
do.
I mean, that suspension of disbelief is fundamental to being in a band the whole way through, to be honest, because you have to be able to stop the doubts. Otherwise, you'd never do anything.
No, that's right.
Every song you get halfway through it and go, "This is garbage. What am I doing?" So, yeah, being able to kid yourself is kind of fundamental, and we were doing a lot of that 36 years ago.
Especially for non-musos, if they really understood how much time a band rehearses and what happens during that rehearsal, because there's all sorts of stuff tried and there's all sorts of people in all sorts of different positions, and sometimes they're half drunk and they're half dressed, and it's just years and years and years of rehearsal that takes place. I suppose when you get older, maybe there's not as much. I'm not quite sure, but certainly when you're trying to form it and you've got all that energy, and it's stuff that people don't see. They just see you when you go up on stage and perform and say, oh, that's pretty good, and think you might just go from performance to performance. But there's a lot of stuff in between.
There is, that's right, yeah. And I mean, we were really learning on the job. So in a way, our shows were almost rehearsals as well. I mean, we were very, very ragged and rough around the edges. And as I said, we'd sort of taught ourselves how to play instruments at a rudimentary level. But it's another whole thing actually coming together, four of you, and playing together, and just fundamentals like it's actually got to be in time. You've got to kind of play and think about what the other guy's playing while you're playing. And they're all things that we hadn't played in cover bands or anything, so we hadn't sort of just learnt those basic fundamentals. So you could argue that our, first 50 shows were kind of rehearsals as well. They were everything. There was warts and all. Everything was kind of on display.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Entertaining for a different reason.
Yeah,
So you've come through that whole period, and 13 albums later, we spoke about before. You know, you've stuck together the whole time. Have you played the whole time, or did you take a hiatus in there at all?
no, I mean, stuck together the whole time. I mean, obviously we've had quieter years. We haven't played as much, but back when we were kind of putting out records on bigger labels, we were playing all the time. Now we're, much more selective, and what the demand for us isn't that
And
great either. But no, always been together. And when we always, doing stuff, and when we're not doing music stuff, we're kind of hanging out as friends anyway. So it's been a one long,
so,
continuous 36 years.
so that's how you get through the marriage, mortgage sort of process. A lot of bands, they come together and everyone's got a different, they're all four different people with four different relationships, and someone says we're touring, and someone says you're not bloody touring. What do you, you know, you and bands end up breaking up because the missus won't let me, or we've got two kids now, or whatever the situation is. But I suppose if you're all friends, you can sort of get past that a little bit.
Oh, big time. Yeah, it's played a huge part in it. And having that friendship basis means that you're more tolerant. I mean, we understand you can't go as long as we have without give and take, without
Yeah, it's
having to
impossible.
turn things down because somebody else has got another commitment that they can't make it, and being able to understand that. And it's a lot easier now. We're at a stage where there's no commercial imperative for us at all. Clearly, we're not a successful band commercially. No one's making any money out of it. So once you take all of that out of there, you're really only doing it because you love making the music and making it together. So it becomes a lot easier. You know, back when you're starting, you probably haven't learnt to, rein in your egos. You young guys full of testosterone, whatever.
Young and dumb and full of something. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
and we somehow met. So they're the kind of most precarious years, as you say. I mean, I don't know what percentage of bands break up within 5 years, but it'd be extraordinarily
Be a
high.
lot. Be a lot.
Yeah,
Be a lot.
and kind of wish you can break on through there and look at each other and go like, I still like you guys, and you're kind of home free. So
It sort of mirrors a marriage or a relationship.
it really does. Yeah, I mean, look, I've never been married, but um, I think it's about the next closest thing you can do to have being in a marriage is being in a band, except it's sort of you're married to a bunch of people, so you're committing bigamy or polygamy or whatever. But
Well, we could read some books about bands, and I think that'd be the least of the surprising stuff that they did.
exactly.
All right. How would you describe your sound?
Oh, look, it's guitar rock. I mean, at the very fundamental level. I mean, we were kind of influenced by a lot of sort of what at the time I suppose was called alternative indie, late 80s into the early 90s. It was kind of a real flowering of that slightly off kilter guitar thing, which is what really drove us. So, that's I think in broad brushstrokes how I'd sort of describe our sound. It's just slightly, yeah. I mean, it's it derives from the same place as so much music, whether it was the Beatles, the Stones, whatever, but with just a little bit of a skew whiff element to it, I guess. It just takes it slightly, well, certainly slightly out of the range of the average listener's kind of musical palette. I mean, we've never really been able to write songs that attract a huge mainstream audience. So there's always been something about us that's just a bit off, I think, for your average listener.
Okay, 13 albums of the same, or did you do one album of hip hop and one album of electronic, or whatever, or is it
No, I
pretty?
mean, look, they're all recognizably us, but there's a lot of there definitely are different periods and different albums. I mean, we've got a couple of albums that are more kind of keyboard heavy and where we used a bit more electronic stuff. But I think it's all, yeah. And our early albums were very much a lot artier, more art rock, a lot more expansive, I suppose, longer, more meandering songs. And then we kind of honed it into a more sort of pop rock sound, and then probably got a bit more expansive again. So it's kind of waxed and waned, but I think you wouldn't have any trouble sort of going, look, it's a unified body of work. You can kind of, yeah, you can tell it's from us.
Okay, so now your latest album, Tropical Strength, has just been released. In fact, it was released today, November 1st. What's it all about? And describe its origin and evolution, this one.
Well, our last record came out 5 years ago, and then we were getting ready to do this one, and then COVID hit. So that was a couple of years that kind of went down the toilet in terms of our ability to make the record. And then we'd sort of, and we really only ever recorded in Melbourne or Sydney, and we thought, let's just do something stupid and, take it somewhere else. So we found this little studio in Bali, which is ludicrously cheap. And just took a punt on it. We had no idea really whether anything was going to work there. Even if maybe it was just a complete scam. But we just thought it would just be good to do something it didn't make any sense from a financial perspective. I mean, getting over there, everything was way more expensive than recording here, but uh, it worked out fantastically well. We just recorded for 7 days in this little studio on the outskirts of Denpasar, and the people there were lovely, and the studio worked. And
Probably kitted up, or a lot less than what we have over here.
no, no, looked really good. I mean, they had it was it was a pretty small facility. It didn't have a lot of stuff, but they had some, they had a drum kit. We didn't have to take a drum kit. They had some guitars, and it was all good quality stuff. So, we couldn't have been happier with it. And the young guys there knew how to run the studio brilliantly. So whenever Ted, our bass player, sort of doubles as an audio engineer, but any issues he had, they were there on hand to sort out. So yeah, I mean, I'd go back there in a heartbeat to record again. It was a great
Well, I
experience.
suppose it's a pretty cool place to sort of hang out when you're not playing.
Well, exactly. We just had a big villa down the road and a swimming pool, and it was kind of like we were rock stars there for a week. Uh, repairing back to the villa.
After 36 years,
Yeah, we finally made
you
it.
are rock stars.
We're rock stars.
Maybe you're
I
not
don't
rock
know if
stars.
so.
Maybe you're not Metallica, standard,
No.
but you're definitely rock stars.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the signature tracks? And do you have any favourites?
Oh, look, yeah, I mean, I suppose the first track on the record, Un-Australians, is kind of kind of sets the tone. It's a pretty, I suppose it's quite a confrontational song in a lot of ways, and it's pretty upbeat rock kind of track. Um, the last song on the record, Let Me Stop You There, is kind of a very death-oriented song. I like to kind of write music. I don't know, at 57, I don't really want to pretend that I'm 18. Like, I'm quite happy to go, yeah, I'm 57. So the music, the lyrical concerns kind of reflect that, I suppose. So the last song's quite yeah, I mean, it's probably quite downbeat, I suppose, but it's, kind of about facing mortality, and not particularly great, great kind of, not top of the chart kind of lyrical concerns, but that's always been our way, really, is to sort of,
Do your thing.
yeah, yeah, with the lyrics. So, yeah, those sort of bookend tracks kind of really, I think, really, yeah, kind of bookend the record really well and kind of sum it up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And just went blank. I had a question that I just went blank with. Would you believe that?
Sorry, mate. We're all at that age
Maybe
now.
that's old age. Uh, oh, that's right. Who does all the on your press releases? And I get thousands of them, obviously. On your press releases, the information is a little, somewhat. Is that a Paul thing, or is that like it's like all the different un-Australians and all that sort of stuff? It's a little bit non-standard sort of thing.
Yeah. No, that's look, I mean, no, that's me. I mean, I find it really difficult to write a standard press release going, "Hey, these guys are awesome," they're geniuses. It's just, I don't know, I can't do it. And so yeah, for you, people come to you, go, "Oh, I need a bio, I need a press release, blah blah blah." So I just write something that sort of vaguely entertains me, and also aware that people in your position, as you said, you get thousands of them, and it's probably pretty yawn-inducing. And I don't expect to be able to change anyone's mind with any kind of anything we submit in a written form. So
But I think to some degree, though, you know, as we spoke about before we started recording, consciousness is in my view, consciousnness is about the moment and your collaboration with it. That's all there is. And then so in that collaboration with it, you're looking for you.
yeah,
That's what you're doing. You're just having your life. And then there's all sorts of from the experiences which are dealing with how you read everyone else coming into it and what takes place, etc. But at your base, every step is really what you're in if you're lucky, rather than mindlessly going from event to event looking for an award or whatever it is that people do these days. And so I think that developing a unique whatever is worthy.
yeah,
And what we have to do, like I can understand there's some self stuff in saying, we're superstars and all that sort of stuff, but developing a healthy self-esteem around the fact that, you look at these things and you're proud of the fact that you are unique. I think that's a necessary place at some stage if you're going
Yeah,
to.
no, I mean, I know what you're saying. I mean, I think it's just, yeah, we've kind of got that fundamental Australian thing of just not being very good at big noting ourselves or talking ourselves
I
up.
get
And
it.
I think I think we are. Look, you wouldn't be going for, if we didn't think we had something, we're doing something worthwhile, we wouldn't still be doing it. So I kind of feel for us, that's sort of just implicit in the fact that we're still here. Um, but yeah, we've never been very good at publicity or, yeah, just ticking those boxes. And so it's, um, yeah,
And
probably to our commercial detriment. But
how long you been with Paul?
well, Paul's probably been helping us. I've known Paul for yonks, obviously with his connection with Regurgitator, and we've played with Regurgitator a lot over the years. But Paul, he's been sort of helping us, more actively, I suppose, for the last sort of 4 or 5 years.
Mate, he's a fellow Fruit Loop.
Yeah, look, Paul's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
He said, he
he's
sends
half crazy, but
most people send me a line in response to something. Paul will send me a page.
oh yeah,
Then I have to send him a page back.
it's
So
classic Paul, isn't it? Yeah, like I might be having some brief text thing. It's like just getting something sorted out, and this thing comes back, and I'm scrolling through it, and it's like, oh Jesus! I
Paul's
just wanted to
Paul,
know what
Paul
time the gigs was starting. Like
Paul's the publicist, runs Consume, Valve Records, and all that sort of stuff. That's who we're
yes,
talking
yeah,
about.
Regurgitator's manager, and
Educators manager.
yeah,
So he's a great, great guy, great guy.
yeah,
All right. So you're touring. You're coming up to tour with Stress of Leisure and Custard.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So
You've
great.
been with them before.
What's that?
Have you been with them before?
Uh, Played with both bands before. We've played with Custard a lot. Way back, we go way back to the sort of mid-90s. Did a couple of tours all around the country with them, and we played with Stress of Leisure a couple of times. A great band. So yeah, I think it's a
What
really.
are you looking forward to? What can the fans expect? What are you looking forward to? What can the fans expect?
I think all three bands have a heavy focus on entertainment. It's not sort of stand up there and shoegaze. It's put on a show. I think Custard are a great show. I like to think we are too, and I know Stress of Leisure are. So I think it's sort of a really engaging trio
Mad,
of bands.
Mad. I don't know. Great show. Mad. I think the two sort of go together.
Yeah,
They're a mad couple of mad. Like it's a fun. It is a fun show.
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Not so much. It's musically fine. It's good. It's great, but it's also a fun show because the guys are prepared to have fun,
yeah.
not just sit there and Van Halen their way through a big riff or something like that.
No, exactly. Yeah, I think that audience engagement, bringing the audience along with you is really important. I think, I mean, maybe if you're a big stadium band and you've got 20 video screens and a monster light show, you can kind of retreat
That's
into yourself. But
that's the next tour.
yeah, but when you're there in front of a couple of hundred people in a sweaty pub, I think you got to engage with them. And I think all three bands are, that's a real strong
Yeah,
point.
it's a good night. If
Yeah.
you could perform with any music artist, alive or dead, who would you choose and why?
Oh God. Well, I
You
don't
choose
know.
God. What,
I
what does he play? What does he play?
don't know. Like, to be honest, I don't have any great hankerings to play with acts that I really admire.
What instrument do you play, Andy?
I play the guitar.
Which guitar though?
How do you mean? Like,
Or bass
oh,
or
sorry, just six-string guitar. Yeah.
so rhythm though, or lead or
Yeah. Look, we don't really. We're a
mix?
bit mixed. Yeah, we're not a classic lead type band. Our guitaring is more an intertwining counterpoint sort of thing.
So
So
you wouldn't like to share the stage with Jimmy or have be Brian May to Freddie or
no, I mean, look, I can be just. I mean, I'm left-handed, like Jimmy, so it'd just be
you'd run into each other.
so embarrassing. Here's,
But all the greats, Paul, Jimmy, you,
yeah,
all
yeah.
the greats were
Or
left
Jimmy
handed.
and me. Yeah, look, why not? Just left-handers only.
That's the left-handers group. Uh,
Yeah.
do you still have any long-term aspirations, or is it really just keep going for the moment sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I think now it's more, let's see if we can keep this band going until we're dead, you know. I think that's really,
Won't be long.
yeah. That's, yeah, I think that'd be a great achievement if they could say at the end, well, the death was the only thing that stopped them, you know.
There you go.
Yeah,
And then you will be playing with God.
yeah.
Straight away. All right. Uh, what piece of advice would you give after 36 years? Oh, come on. My daughter, sorry. What piece of advice would you give
To other aspiring young bands,
to
or
aspiring young bands thinking that they're going to
I'd
follow?
say you're not going to be as big as you think you are. You know, the odds are vanishingly small that you're going to be massive. So if you can't look at it and think, I'm enjoying this and I'm enjoying doing it with the people I'm doing it with, then
Yeah, this
really,
is This is what I come back to with that moment and collaboration with it. You can set up any situation you want to in your head. And when you're sitting in a palace and you've got $1 billion, when you sit in a chair, you're sitting in a chair. And so if you're not happy with what's happening around you, it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor, you're unhappy. And so basically, find yourself and you'll be happy. Find some other place and you won't, and everything else around you won't make any difference.
it's so true. I mean, I guess, it's a message that is often obscured and people think, oh, you're just saying that because you're not rich or whatever. But no, I mean, the 36 years of incredible experiences and bonds that we've shared are just, they are really are priceless. That might sound like a cliche, but it's not something you can't buy it,
You
So,
can't buy it. You can't buy it. And look, if you've done 13 albums of nothing, you've done 13 albums. So,
exactly. It doesn't
it's worth
really
it.
matter. It's been the journey.
It's
Doesn't
worth
matter
the
where
journey.
we've got to or where we intended to go. And, I don't want to sort of sound too old and pseudo philosophical, but it's really true. And it's why we're still going, because it's just a journey, and we just kind of let it take us. As I said, we want to go until we're dead, and just
It's the
whatever happens
Taoist,
until then,
the
we'll have.
Taoist thing. Let life take you or it takes you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to finish on some questions that everyone hates, but I like doing them because everyone hates them. That's a masochist in me. What's the craziest thing you've ever done? The police are listening.
Oh, look, I'm a really bad guy to ask that, because I am not a risk taker. I'm very, very, yeah, I'm just not a risk taker. So I actually have never done anything crazy in my life.
Andy, if I
I,
if I if I had when I have the podcast, when I have these deep and meaningful with you, we're gonna find out. You're gonna start crying. You're gonna tell me that you killed 3 people and buried them under the
look,
bed.
Dave, if anyone, I think I'm getting the feeling if anyone can break me down, it's you.
Gonna be me. I'll do it. All right. So the craziest thing you've ever done is nothing crazy.
Yeah, in a way that is quite crazy, because
It is
yeah,
quite crazy, especially 36 years in a band. You'd think at some stage, 4 blondes came up to you afterwards and you just managed to, sing some
yeah.
dog and
No,
have
I've never had
drunk.
one blonde come up to me after a
Oh
show.
my
I mean, look,
God.
I guess one of the reasons, one of the many reasons we're still going is because I'm the one. You probably needed to interview one of the other 3 guys, because I'm the kind of stable one who drives us home after the show. I'm the kind of, yeah. So without me, we wouldn't have lasted 5 years, put it that way, without my level of kind of pseudo saneness and
You
organization.
keep the world going,
Yeah.
Andy. If
Well,
you
I keep the
weren't
Fauves
around,
going, put it that
if you
way.
weren't around, they'd all die at 27. They'd be in the 27 club. What's the one topic you can talk about for hours?
I'm well, I mean, I could bang on about football for quite easily for hours.
What state do you come from?
Victoria,
And who do you barrack for?
Melbourne.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You could talk about football for hours and it'd all be bad. You talk about all the sorry sort of situations. Now, when you left in 55 through 60, you weren't quite born then. and you missed out on the halcyon days. I think 64 was that the last one?
Well, it was
Oh,
until
until a couple of years. Well, we don't count COVID.
oh, I do.
No, no, no.
So
We
yeah,
don't.
I mean, my dad lived through the glory years and then has carried the shame and guilt for the rest of his life. Okay, yeah, yeah.
So, at the end of the day, you've got to understand. I can understand why you haven't done anything crazy because you've led a milk, white life with following those mad people at Melbourne with their, four-wheel drives up the country all the time. What's the thing you like most about yourself? Don't tell me that you're a Melbourne supporter because then I'll throw up right away.
uh, Shit, Dave. I mean, what do I like most about myself? It's not something I'm in the habit of reflecting on. I tend to generally more reflect on what I don't like about myself. No, no, I think I'm a pretty compassionate person. I think I'm an okay
Excellent.
guy. Yeah, I think I'm an okay guy. That's probably what I
I
like
think
about
that's
myself.
excellent. I think that just to finish on the conscious note, I think that all you have to do is it's like your music. All it has to be is harmonic.
Yeah,
All you have to be is harmonic.
yeah,
Everything else, every other description that you're trying to meet, it's just a figment of your imagination.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, your success, your version of you versus someone else. If they landed you in Gaza, you'd think you were having the best life of anyone if you were here having your life now.
yeah,
And if you landed beside the Beatles and you had that sort of a life and you came back here, you'd probably think it was pretty boring.
yeah.
It just depends where you land, and really, it doesn't really matter
No,
where
totally. Yeah, totally
you're
agree.
shooting.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to finish now on some quick answers. These ones that everyone really hates. Favorite album?
Daydream Nation by Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth. No one's
Yeah.
put that up recently. Favorite artist?
Favorite musical artist?
Yeah.
Um,
I often wonder why people ask me that because I'm not sure that in this medium I'd be wanting to
yeah,
know
yeah.
which painter you liked. I mean, that's fair enough.
Here's what I'm about to say, Kandinsky.
Yeah.
No, look, yeah, Sonic Youth again. Biggest influence on my career for sure. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Favorite movie? Sonic Youth, the early years. None of
Yeah. Fucking hell. It's favorite movie. Like I'm just grasping it. So it's got to be just the first thing I can think of.
There's no right answers. There's
No,
just
I just
which one do you go back to most? Sound of Music because you watched it when you were a kid, or
no, I don't really go back to. I tend to just watch a movie once and that's it. I can't think of too many.
Indiana
No, I've probably
Jones?
watched Spinal Tap a few times, so maybe that's what.
Final Tap's a great movie. That's
Yeah.
funny as. Favorite place to visit?
The Victorian Alps.
Really?
Yeah.
For what reason?
I'm a big bushwalker, and I just love sitting on top of mountains, basically, and just
That's the
looking out
best.
over the endless hills or what seem endless
That's
from.
the best. If you understand, yogis sit on under trees and meditate. That's all they do, and that's the
Yeah,
best. That's the best life you can have.
yeah,
You've got to come to terms with this from me side, though, that keeps on saying you're not doing enough and you should do more.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Favorite food?
Favorite food, hummus.
No wonder you're still alive. You'll live to 100. Favorite drink? Say water.
Coffee.
Coffee. Oh, that'll kill you.
Yeah.
Favorite drink? Favorite person in history? Now that you know me, you can.
Present company accepted. Favorite person in history, Bob Brown, leader of the Australian Greens.
He was a decent bloke. He had to stand up and be counted.
Yeah.
Uh, Favorite? Do you have tattoos?
No,
Not one.
not one.
36
Oh,
years
no,
in
it's
a
straight
band.
edge. What's
36 years in a band, and you never found your way to a to
no,
an income.
what? Not one guy in our band's got a tattoo, so I don't know what that says about us. But yeah.
Maybe it shouldn't be the Fauves, it should be the Mauves. Oh, that's it, man. That's it. That's it. at some stage in the future, if I do get it started, I'll get you back for an in-depth because I'll break you down and,
No, you need it, mate. I need someone to break me
it'll
down.
be
Yeah,
so good to get you crying on air and,
yeah.
just
I
get you.
cry very easily, so it won't take much.
Oh, terrific! And just I'll be the guy on air that had, it's my 42nd suicide after the incident. I'll have a record for that at least. Something like that. All right, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. Good on
Been a
you.
pleasure. Have a great tour with the guys. And
Awesome.
all right, bud. All the best.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for
Cheers,
your
mate.
time today. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. I appreciate it too. Thanks, mate.
See you, mate.
See ya.